Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. Like their counterparts in Trinidad and Tobago not so long ago, Jamaica's Reggae Boyz are engaged in a battle of wills, and I'm putting it kindly, with the Jamaica Football Federation over match fees and critical arrangements for upcoming World Cup qualifiers and beyond. With that, we now present to you what we're calling a zone exclusive, because it is. We have managed to obtain some documents showing correspondence between the players and the JFF. We can tell you that the players are led by their designated negotiators, Adrian Mariappa, Damian Lowe, and the captain Andre Blake, under the guidance of attorney at law Robert Taylor. Now, before we go with the documents, it's important to note that we have presented on this show what our sources have told us the JFF has on the table. The deadline of Friday, team, you'd be surprised to know this, Lance Mariah. Remember that we said that our sources have told us that the JFF is giving the players until Friday to sign contracts, which covers World Cup qualifiers, the Gold Cup, and other things. That contract, I understand, has a tenure up to 2023. My information was that, yes, Friday was the deadline. I have been told subsequently that the players only learned about the Friday deadline after watching this show live. So they heard on SportsMax that they were to sign the contracts by Friday or else. So I said, No, I've heard enough over the past few days from the players' side to convince me that all is not as it seems. And if the players are to be believed, then the JFF has, as it does so often in the past, painted itself into a corner, and whatever public sentiment is perhaps trending in the JFF's favor, when the players speak and make their side of the story known, perhaps persons will be more sympathetic to the players and perhaps do their usual turn, which is to view the JFF with suspicion and to perhaps be uncharitable towards the leadership of the Football Federation. So let us go with what we have to put everything into context. Now, this is a letter, this first letter dated February 26, is a letter from Robert Taylor, the attorney acting on behalf of the boys, to the manager of the JFF, Roy Simpson. And this one is, it's very good that we put this one first, because this one just deals with the friendly against the USA on March 25. The JFF says, we can afford to pay you 1,000 US for your match fee, and your per diem is 100 US. The players have asked for, they've made a counter offer, 2,000 US dollars for the USA friendly. If we win, we get an extra 1,000. If we draw, we get an extra 500, and our per diem fees 100. So they're agreeing on the per diem, but not much agreement elsewhere, and they're awaiting on the JFF now to respond to their counter offer. This document again is for the USA friendly only, because the USA friendly comes up March 25. That game will be played in Austria. Now, right, so we're just showing you the three leaders, Adrian Mariappa, Damian Lowe, and Andre Blake. They are leading the negotiations on behalf of the players, and we're going to show you how even this has become problematic. The next thing we're going to look at is this, and I think this is of critical importance to the negotiations, or to the understanding of the negotiations. So it is in the public domain that the players have asked for 7,000 US dollars for the 14 World Cup qualifiers. Yeah? They've asked for 7,000 US dollars for the World Cup qualifiers. The popular sentiment is that the players are asking for too much. The popular sentiment is, how is it that you accept around about 2,000 for the Saudi Arabia friendlies in last November, and you're going way up to 7,000 US dollars for the World Cup qualifiers? In a vacuum, it looks like a lot. But what the players are saying, well, 7,000 is not unreasonable. And even so, 7,000 is just our opening salvo in what we expect to be a negotiation. You don't walk into a room, Mariah, when you're getting your job at SportsMax or wherever else, when you go to work at ESPN or CNN or wherever, and you put a figure on the table, your negotiating salary, and you say, all right then, I want $1 million US per month. You don't expect your prospective employer to tell you that, well, we only have 10,000 US dollars on the board. You expect them to say, all right then, we can't afford $1 million, but what about 900,000? What about 800,000? So the 7,000 was only the opening salvo. But this is where the context comes in. In 2015, the JFF paid the players. This is not an offer now. The JFF paid 4 World Cup qualifiers $5,000. That's what these documents that we have say. The JFF paid $5,000. So the players are saying, well, 6 years ago, and if you can run the annual inflation numbers and come right up to 2021, and if you're asking us to sign a contract that expires in 2023, which includes the World Cup qualifiers that we're negotiating about, if you paid us $5,000 6 years ago, why is it that $7,000 is so unreasonable now? From 5,000 to 7,000, it's just under a 50% increase. Well, 5,000, half of that is 25,000, so that was 7,500. A 50% increase would have been 7,500. They've gone under that. So they're saying with the normal passage of time and inflation and everything else, $7,000 is not unreasonable to ask for, given that in 2015 we were paid $5,000. And they're saying in 2015 there was no plague. There is COVID-19 here. The players are motivated, all right, well, not motivated, influenced by the fact that in Saudi Arabia, when they went there to play those 2 friendlies, a couple players came down with COVID-19. If you have COVID-19 as a player and you are part of a squad, that doesn't go down well with your club, who pays you day by day, because you have to go quarantine, the club are denied of your services, a whole lot of things happen. Your health, you may never be the same after recovering, even though you're young and fit, and they say young and fit people make a full recovery. There are so many unknowns. So the players are saying, well, there is a risk, because it's not as if we're bomb-proof. We went to Saudi Arabia, nothing happened. We went to Saudi Arabia, a couple of guys had COVID-19, so to build into the match fee that we are requesting is something that represents the risk that we are taking traveling and playing football in these times. And so they say 7,000 against the background of 5,000 in 2015 is not unreasonable. There is an issue concerning the state of the negotiations, the earnestness of the JFF, the honesty of the JFF, and the players, what the players deem to be disrespectful, the disrespectful conduct of the JFF in those negotiations. This is a letter that we're showing you now, written by Robert Taylor, which speaks to what the Reggae Boyz find to be the unprofessionalism and the hostility. So it says, paragraph 11, they're referring to the JFF's draft contract to them. Unnecessarily hostile, inconsistent with the tone of our negotiations. Yeah? Remember yesterday I said on the show that my understanding was that the players were proposing to set up a whipper-style entity to negotiate on their behalf. This letter bears out that report, and it proves that what I was saying yesterday was indeed correct, because the players' attorney here is saying that yes, the players' representatives and assistants of legal counsel is a step in the right direction, because we suggested the formation of an association of the players, to which the JFF has responded. Then they go, the players, we absolutely do not appreciate the threatening tone of your paragraph 12. Yeah, the lawyer says it's my professional obligation to share communication with you, with the parties whom I represent. And in the spirit of true negotiations, which so far the JFF has not reflected by your take it or leave it response, we ask the players not to share with the press any communication from the JFF. And then they say in the same letter that they are awaiting, well, he says, the lawyer, that we are awaiting instructions on your proposal to increase the prize money by 15%, because they had gotten an offer and they're waiting on that to be addressed. And they say your reluctance to negotiate the appearance fees, per diem and match incentives violates the spirit of our mandate, of your mandate. So I'm saying the players have gotten a contract from the JFF people. The players have said it's not just about match fees. There are a whole list of things that we have taken issue with in the draft contract that we have sent back to the JFF for a few weeks now. They took forever to respond. They're only dealing with the issue of the match fees because they believe that putting the match fee that we're asking for in the public domain will get the public on their side and turn the public against us without the full story of why we're asking for the figure that we're asking for. Yeah, I've given you that context according to what the players are saying. The players are saying that they don't trust the JFF because the tone of the negotiation is hostile, unnecessarily hostile, and because they don't believe that the JFF is honest and sincere in dealing with them in talking about the meat and drink issues, the nitty-gritty issues. They have a strong suspicion about them and the numbers they're putting on the table, their stated ability to pay, and how they believe the JFF is trying to turn the media and the public against them. And that is why I have the benefit of sharing this information with the public so it can inform the discussions around the issue. The players want the public's opinion to be framed in the right perspective so they understand where they are coming from. The players reject the tag of people calling them mercenaries and being greedy. They're saying, not so, we're asking for a reasonable match fee and other things in the contract to be straightened out so we can play football for our country and have a free mind.
And I think they're in their right. I think this is how a negotiation is supposed to go. I give you an offer, you counter offer and whatnot. When we had Andrew Blake on the SportsMax Zone, he said none of that was done. And you know, he stressed the fact that there's a lack of trust with the JFF. And I think that lack of trust is the underlying issue. And unless that trust is not rectified, they can't move forward.
Yeah, as I said all week, Mariah and George, unacceptable for the JFF to be, you know, saying 2,000, take it or leave it. I don't think that is the way to go, especially when you know you have this acrimonious relationship with players who, by their own admission and by their own, you know, big statements, they don't trust you. I want to say quickly though, George, about the 5,000 for the 2015 qualifiers that they got. Precedents, very important, so the JFF on the back foot there. But remember, this administration came in with about $3 million in the red, and probably that is part of the reason why they were so much in the red, because 5,000 was something that they probably couldn't afford. But under Captain Horace Burrell's, the late Captain Horace Burrell's leadership, they offered that to the players. So I think the JFF could argue that when they did that the last time, you know, it put them further in the red. But a lot more still to come on this story. We'll be back with more on the Zone after this.